Racing liveried car of Owen Rosser that we still have outings last year. So he's on pole alongside Justin Griffiths.
As the lights go out and the race gets underway, then it's Rosser and Griffiths, but a good start by Stevenson. Spencer Stevenson from the second row of the grid. He's going to try and thread in between the two front row cars. No gap there. Has to look to the inside line. That's covered off by Rosser as well. So it's going to be Griffiths then in the 55 car from the outside of the front row that leads, but he goes wide and loses 2 places again. So it's Rosser, I think, that's going to have the advantage from Stevenson in second place, is it? As we watch the 182s go through as well.
Every race this season, Owen Rosser has started from pole and not led into the first corner until now, but he kind of didn't lead into the first corner. That's only because Justin Griffiths outbraked himself.
He was on the way out.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
We'll give him that one, I think.
So he's been obviously working at these starts. Remember at the beginning at Croft, he somehow went from pole to last at the start. So he's really come on now, working these starts out. We know he's really quick. I think he's had fastest lap in every race. He's had every pole position. So now, whether anyone can beat Owen Rosser in this race, we shall see. We'll watch the 182 battles as well during the course of this one, where you can see car number 47 out there, Ben Swift, one of the number of drivers that have a novice cross on the back. It's the 197s out front, and Owen Rosser is pulling away from Spencer Stevenson in second. Nick Harrison, who made a good start, is there in third position at the end of one lap as they head up towards Hatchett's Hairpin. In the 182s, it's got Edgar that leads, but only just.
Justin Griffiths was trying to find a way back ahead of Nick Harrison there, who's got up to third place on the opening lap, but couldn't find a way through. Oh, and it's all a little bit messy, and that's Hawkins having a spin. The 7 car that was off on the left-hand side of the circuit was Stephen Richardson. Hawkins has got a bit of a dent in his driver's door now, but he's back into the race.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of assistance in having that spin, didn't he? So not great there for Alex Hawkins, who's been having a decent season, 13th in the championship into this race. There's 21, David Walsh, who's really improving as the season's gone on, and he's challenging Justin Griffiths here. He's in 5th. He's ahead of Andrew Hardin, who won both races at Silverstone. He's got this damaged car that might be holding him back a little bit today, you would think. Although saying that, he actually going past Walsh, as I was saying. There's Stephen Richardson, who is the other driver, one of the 3 drivers involved in that incident at Hatchett's on the previous lap. So hopefully he's been able to pull off into a safe place so we can carry on racing.
Yeah, hopefully the Ryan Poly Motorsport Pad car will be back out later on this afternoon. So the top 10 or so cars have now gone through to complete their second lap in this 15-minute race. Spencer Stevenson has done the best lap of 1:07.18, which is faster than we had earlier on, where Justin Griffiths and Owen Rosser set a joint lap record. Well, that's been broken now by Spencer Stevenson.
Yeah,
as we watch the 182s.
We go back to Spencer Stevenson. I think he missed Croft because he blew the engine on Friday.
Right.
Then he got 2 4th places at Silverstone. But he's really come on this weekend, obviously winning that race earlier. And he has taken this race to Owen Rosser. But here's some of those battling in the 182s. Chris Keir there is just up ahead of Chris Lawrence and Nick Brady. They're battling something like the 5th place within Class A for the Clio 182, which the top 4 are there, being headed by Scott Edgar, the winner from the earlier race, ahead of Darren Ransom, Tim Bentley and Jack Dwayne, last year's champion, only there in 4th place within the class. And then this battle that continues further behind, being headed by Chris Keir, who was, I think, the winner earlier on in the season at Croft there in the second race. We've had a couple of wins outright as well for Scott Edgar, who is currently leading the way within the 182s. There's Tim Bentley, who's returning to the championship this season, his 3rd within the class, ahead of Jack Dwayne, who has a little look to the outside at Hatchett's, but he's not going to be able to make anything of that as we start the 4th lap of this race.
Yep. So there we see the class leading car going through shot. Scott Edgar, number 40 from number 30 Darren Ransom, and that's the scrap for 3rd and 4th. Bentley and Jack Dwayne, who's a 30-year-old car dealer from Lincoln. Started racing quite a long while ago, but only came into Clio's at the end of the 2020 season, wasn't it? And had obviously a very strong year last year, winning the championship after a season-long battle with Jack Kingsbury. This season, obviously, we've got the change with the 197s coming in, but I think actually he's finding it quite hard going as well within the 182s anyway. Certainly this weekend here at Pembrey, because he's headed at the moment by Edgar, who, you know, would be sort of close to him last season, but Darren Ransom and Tim Bentley, who perhaps are a bit of a surprise package.
Yeah, that's right. So far this year, it's got Edgar and Chris Keir won at Croft. Jack Dwayne did both races at Silverstone within the class. but obviously Scott Edgar then took another win earlier on today to get his second win in the class. So that's very close between Dwayne and Edgar in the championship. Here is the battle for third place. Quite a long way behind the top two now. Nick Harrison and Justin Griffiths, who have been joined by Andy Harding, making it a three-way battle. Griffiths and Harding, they always place themselves together in the paddock, kind of teammates, work together. And they've done a great job to get Andrew Harding's car back out. You can see the dents on it all the way around. Almost every body panel's had to be seen to since yesterday evening's first attempt at the first of 3 races this weekend. Harding out there in P5. He was the double winner at Silverstone in this new car to him. And here is Harrison then turning through Honda Curve for the 5th time. They're in 3rd position. Formerly raced in the Clio, the Michelin Clio road-going type series. Now joining the 750 Motor Club one, but he might lose 3rd. No, because Justin Griffiths has outbraked himself rather. And that might allow Andrew Harding through. So these two mates are going to run side by side. Don't touch each other, otherwise that may not end well. Let's see. Well, they're still side by side, and it's Justin Griffiths that's turned out of Debeni just about in front.
Indeed he does. So 9 minutes of the race left to go, just under that. Still trying to sort out 5th and 6th between them then, amongst the 197 cars. They're about 2 seconds ahead of Scott Edgar, who's the first of the 182. So there's not a huge discrepancy in the performance between the two classes of cars, but just enough to get all the 197s ahead of all the 182s. But we only took about probably a second a lap really, as again Harding is going to have another go. This is going to be up the inside at Carter's Curve, and he's got through. Yeah,
he's done it this time. It's taken him almost the whole lap to complete it, but he's gone through. In front of this pack, the top two are getting closer to one another because Spencer Stevenson is reeling in Owen Rosser, so the gap's come to under half a second for the first time during the course of this race. So they're in front of this battle for 3rd. There's the 182 leader going through. That's still Scott Edgar. He's 7/10 of a second ahead of Darren Ransom, but here are the 197 and the overall race leaders.
Yeah, Scott Stevenson last time through took about a quarter of a second out of Owen Rosser's advantage. So battle on here. Earlier on, of course, it finished in the order Stevenson and then Rosser, with Harding in 3rd place. Can Stevenson get ahead? He's still got half of the race left to go here to do that. We only had a 10-minute race earlier on. Should have a full 15 minutes here. Rosser not very clean through Brooklands, and that means Stevenson carries more speed out of the corner. He's going to be on the outside line for Carter's, though. Is that going to matter? Is he going to go around the outside? No, I don't think he is. He's going to have to tuck back in behind Ross. A pretty daunting place to go around the outside, a flat-out right-hand king.
Yeah, that's right, but that all started, as you said, by I think a bit of a mistake at Brooklands Row in Ross. He braked really late and then the car ran out wide. He understeered through the corner, but he's just about been able to repel that challenge from Spencer Stevenson's Russell James backed Clio. He uses a lot of the curb. We know today the officials are keeping an eye on that, so you need to make sure you do keep within the track limits, because it wouldn't be the first race where somebody's got a penalty today on Sunday of this 750 Motor Club meeting at Pembrey. But it's Owen Rosser still in front again. Stevenson put him under pressure. This is where we saw that mistake a lap ago, heading now down towards Brooklands. So can Owen Rosser hold on this time? Stevenson knows about it. He tries to attack. Rosser defends the inside again, though. He goes in a bit deep, not as deep as a lap ago, though, and therefore he's able to come out of the corner in the lead. These two, by the way, Ian, 5 seconds ahead of the rest.
Yeah, I don't know what Scott Stevenson's, Spencer Stevenson's background is. He's not got a novice cross on the back of the car, though, which is actually has done some racing before. He's just behind Owen Rosser, who does sport the novice cross on the back of his car. We saw him make his race debut at Croft and failed to get the car off the line very effectively, but he's sort of mastered that part of the racing driver's armoury now. But he's getting a real nudge on here from Spencer Stevenson. And these two, 5 seconds or so clear of the rest, Josh.
Yeah, it looks like Stevenson's come through the British karting scene and did a bit of Fiesta racing last year. So now moving into the Clios, a different brand of one-make racing, similar type of racing I would expect. perhaps a bit bigger grids here in the Clio Sport Championship. But he's going really well, isn't he? This is fantastic performance here at Pembrey this weekend from Spencer Stevenson, and he's put in Owen Rosser again. Both of them have come from karting, both haven't got that much experience in cars, but both doing a great job here to be at the front, a long way clear of now Andrew Harding, who's made his way up into third, who's been racing with the 750 Motor Club for a long time, although only took his first car circuit racing victory last month at Silverstone. Top two across the line, we completed 9 laps, and is Stevenson going to attack here up towards Hatchett? Well, Rosser's got the inside covered. He knows this is the real overtaking opportunity, and therefore he covers the line off and stays in front.
Interestingly, no improvement on the fastest lap, I think, since it was the second lap that Spencer Stevenson set the fastest lap of the race of 107.18. So no improvement since then. We're now working lap 10 of the race. In the 182s, by the way, still number 40, Scott Edgar leading from number 30, Dan Ransom, number 4, Tim Bentley, and number 1, Jack Dwayne. Chris Lawrence now has a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, but he's down in 13th position. We're watching the overall and the 197 race leaders, who are really close together, as Stevenson was attacking Rosser into Brooklands.
Yeah, Rosser's car's getting a load of understeer there. I'm not sure if it's just because he brakes too late and then has to try and desperately get the car turned in and power on and stay in front, or if the car isn't quite set up to his liking. Nevertheless, he is still there, out in front, in the car, sporting the livery of the championship sponsor, K-Tec Racing, who are massive Renault preparers and parts departments. So if you've got a Renault, K-Tec are the people to go and speak to, who have supported the 750 Motor Club's Renault series now pretty much since its inception, and have a big part to do with the championship.
Yeah, obviously been supporting the development of the 197 category as well. Nice view there of Rosser, good view of him as working in the car. They're still trying to keep Spencer Stevenson at bay. I mean, what's impressive here is they are battling quite hard, these two, but they are getting away from the rest of the 197s. Andrew Harding now a little bit on his own in third place. Nick Harrison, Justin Griffith still together 4th and 5th, and David Walsh in 6th.
This is where the struggles seem to come for Owen Rosser through the Brooklands hairpin section of this track. He knows he's got that issue and he defends well, therefore. Here's the battle for 4th. Nick Harrison, Justin Griffiths. The 182s, by the way, I think we've got 4 to 5 cars all together up front, because Scott Edgar and Dan Ransom are being caught by Tim Bentley and Jack Dwayne. Notice there's a bumper lying on the side of the circuit there. So someone's obviously had an incident at some point. But this is the battle between Nick Harrison and Justin Griffiths. We're watching for 4th and 5th.
I'm just watching out of the window and I can see that Jack Dwayne is coming up the inside to take 2nd place away from Tim Bentley there. So Jack Dwayne made up 2 positions at Honda Curve there in the 182. They're a long way behind now. Scott Edgar in the lead of the 182 part of the race. But Jack Dwayne has made a great move. We're sticking with the 197s on the stream though. And there's a bit more of a gap now between Spencer Stevenson and Owen Rosser. And you've got Griffiths and Harrison going side by side into the Benny.
Yeah, and Harrison's just about holding Justin Griffiths back at this stage for 4th position as they head up now through the S's. This is the part of the track we've been talking about that's so quick. We're right on the limit. Absolutely fantastic part of the track here to view the cars from. And Harrison hangs on to 4th. Then you have to get the car slowed down for this Brooklands corner, which we've seen some chaos changing on the way in and on the way out, and that's what we might see this time as Justin Griffiths gets the better exit and he's on the inside line. He's going to take 4th here as they go through Carter's Curve on what probably be 2 laps to go, perhaps?
Yeah, 2 laps to go. We've just had the leaders go over the line a moment or 2 ago, so there should be 2 laps to go in this K-Tec Racing Clio Sport Championship race. Looking at the 182s just out of our window, it's still Jack Dwayne in 2nd place, with Chris Keir now up into 3rd position within that class, but we're still watching this battle on screen between 4th and 5th, Griffiths and Harrison. Griffiths having made his place in that time. Yeah, on that lap, Chris Keir made up 2 places, I think, to go up into 9th spot.
Yeah, Dan Ransom, who was up there 2nd, he's dropped to 4th. He was having his best run in the 182s, but he has dropped back, as you say there, with the more experienced Dwayne and Keir coming through. But here are the leaders on the penultimate lap. As ever, Owen Rosser that is massively under pressure from Spencer Stevens as they head through Carter's Curve, flat out. and up towards Honda Curve with 1 lap to go at the end of this. They both take pretty much identical lines all the way through Honda Curve. The checkered flag goes out early, and Great Dunmo's Owen Rosser takes the race win.
Does it indeed. There's a black and white driving license flag going out to someone as well, so just a few moments early. We do get the checkered flag then. Rosser it is, getting the win from Scott Stevenson. Andrew Harding comes across the line in third. Justin Griffiths fourth, Nick Harrison fifth, and David Walsh in sixth. It's going to be Scott Edgar that makes it 2 out of 2 today in the 182 division from Jack Dwayne in second, Christopher Keir third, and Darren Ransom in fourth position in the K-Tec Racing Clio Sport Championship race, the 182 division. But yes, Owen Rosser did really well in that race. Josh, to soak up a lot of pressure.
Yes, he had, especially from about, lap 3 or 4, Stevenson really pushing him all the way. And Rosser's car didn't look particularly nice to drive at times. It was understeering, but he was able to hold off race 1 winner Spencer Stevenson here at Pembrey. Let's take a look at the results of round 6.
Yeah, 0.29 seconds all that there was between 53 Owen Rosser and 12 Spencer Stevenson. 8 seconds back then to number 77 Andrew Harding in third position. Fourth place to number 55 Justin Griffiths ahead of Nick Harrison in the Trouble 1 car. David Walsh rounds out the finishes in the 197 part of the field. Then Scott Edgar was 7th overall. And winning the Clio 182 class A, from number 1 Jack Dwayne, who made that audacious move at Honda about 3 laps from the end to get the class win, but he was about 2 seconds behind, or 3 seconds behind Edgar. In 4th place within that class, 9th overall number 22 Chris Keir, and then Darren Ransom number 30 completing the top 10. Beyond that, it was Tim Bentley and Nick Brady. Chris Lawrence's 5-second penalty won't change the result, I don't think. He'll stay 13th. Charles Shelburne 14th, then Ben Swift, Alex Hawkins with that damage to his driver's door. Chris Page, Gareth Tansey, Tom Stevenson, Joyce and Andy Bennett rounding out the top 20. And Stephen Richardson, retirement on the 2nd lap of the race. So that's the K-Tec Racing Clio Sport Championship action for now, but there is another race for them later. It's our final race of the weekend, due off at around about 25 past 5 this afternoon. But let's head down to the pit lane now. We'll hear from our respective class winners with Johnny Palmer.
More fraught stuff, wasn't it, from the K-Tec Racing Clio Sport Championship, and a chance to actually catch up with both of our class winners, because they were changing. Well, second place in the 182s was changing fairly late on in that. The one man that stayed ahead was Scott Edgar. I'm going to have a word with Scott first, actually, because we always like to put the spotlight on the class a little bit lower down. And, of course, with the balance of performance in this championship this year, you can theoretically win a race whether you're in the 182s or the 197/200s. So Scott's just getting the helmet off. We'll also have a word with Owen Rosser, who I get the feeling this win's a little bit overdue this weekend. He certainly had the pace in the car and has started last night's aborted race from pole, started today's race earlier today from pole, but finally gets the win. Scott, congratulations. We always like to put the spotlight on the 182s, quite rightly so, and battling, changing behind you, but you stayed in front.
Yeah, Dan was really fast in that race. Kept me honest for half of it, but then I think the two behind him, gave him a bit of trouble, and it left me free to drive it home. So. And
how was the car through the race? A relatively short race, it seems, but can develop.
Yeah, I mean it was a bit warmer than earlier, but yeah, manageable. It was quite good. Yeah.
We'll congratulate Owen Rosser off camera, because thank you very much, Scott Edgar. We've got more action here on Alpha Live next from the Demon Tweaks Yokohama Low Cost Championship.